beautiful state with tons of beautiful scenery. It is home to many creatures and many people. It is a very peaceful state, but it wasn't always like this. My sources and information were from the books I read in class. The first source was from a book called Connecticut, Hello USA, published by Gilman. The next book was called Connecticut, Colonial America, published by Bergen. The last book is called Connecticut, Celebrate the States, published by Sherrill. These books all gave me information and knowledge about the history and lifestyle, the religion, and the land of Connecticut. I used the internet to find and gather information. I used websites that cannot be edited by public. We found an online archive of original sources called JSTOR. In this website, you can add 3 books to your shelf for free. Once you add them, you can print them out and read them. All these sources helped me make this report. The sources that helped me the most were JSTOR and Connecticut, Hello USA, because it was the easiest to understand and had tons of information on the geography and religion. Connecticut, Hello USA stated all these facts in this paragraph. Connecticut was once completely covered in woods. Now it has lots of people and towns. People like to live there because of its climate. Little creatures roam the forest of Connecticut. There are raccoons, birds, deer, squirrels, and many more animals. The native people that live there caught many salmon each year. Connecticut has tons of rivers. Altogether, there is about 8,400 miles of river in Connecticut. Connecticut has always had lots of hills and mountains, but not many lakes. Connecticut is a peaceful and beautiful place to live because of the many living animals and plants there are. The first Native American tribes settled in Connecticut 10,000 years ago. These tribes were called Pudong, Bungo, Sugag, and Hamanaset. They ate fruit, meat, and built shelters. They all traded their goods amongst each other and lived happily until the Dutch arrived in the 1600s. Adrian Block was the first European to find out about Connecticut. He was an European explorer who led an expedition to North America. When exploring, he found a place that he has not heard of and has not been discovered. I found this out when reading the book Connecticut, Celebrate the States. He had black hair with a cartoony mustache. He often wore a black shirt with a big white collar. I found how he looks like in the book Connecticut, Celebrate the States. The Dutch found out about Connecticut in the 1630s and moved there in the 1640s. The Dutch thought it was a nice place to live because of all the food and water around. They asked to share the land with the Native Americans. The Native Americans allowed the Dutch settlers to have a small part of their land. The Dutch lived in a small area that they named Hartford, which is now the capital of Connecticut. Then the Yankees arrived in the 1620s. After a year or so, an English leader named Thomas Hooker arrived with the Puritans. The land was starting to get crowded, and after a while, the Dutch needed more land because they didn't have enough space to build their homes, farms, and other buildings. The Native Americans refused to give them more. This caused a war to break out over the land in the 1600s. The Dutch ended up winning, and the Native Americans were forced to flee. The Dutch set up a government called the General Court. Connecticut, Colonial America, and JSTOR gave me all this information in this paragraph. In the 1620s, Thomas Hooker led the Puritans to Connecticut in search of land where all men could vote, even if they were poor. He shared the land with the Yankees and the Dutch. Thomas Hooker opened up a church in the 17th century for the people who wanted to be Puritans as well. Hundreds of people became Puritans. Then a rule was made that all children over the age of 16 had to go to church on Sundays. If they didn't, they were punished. Kids under 16 could stay home, but still had to learn about religion at home. Connecticut, Hello USA gave me this information for this paragraph about jobs and people. Jobs were hard work in Connecticut back then. Everyone except infants had to work, but even little kids had to at least clean the houses. Older children had to work and help around the house a lot. Common jobs were blacksmith, a person who makes tools and weapons, a woodworker, a person who crafts wood, a brickmaker, a person who makes houses with bricks, and a farmer, people who harvest food and tend to animals. Connecticut was always overpopulated, even back then. People had to work a lot to raise money for their families. People even had to sacrifice many things just to help their family. Some people had a lot of money, but still had to work. Connecticut is a magnificent place that Adrian Block discovered. and Thomas Hooker spread religion. Even the geographical features of Connecticut are stunning. Overall, this was an outstanding colony to study, and I'm happy that I got to learn more about it.